Hey there, so today we're going to have a look at how to build an AI automation that is going to grow your LinkedIn followers without you needing to make any effort. Sounds too good to be true, right? So this automation is the first of my LinkedIn growth automation series. There's a lot more to come. And today we're going to build a custom trained AI assistant that is going to scan for posts from influential people on LinkedIn and is going to write responses to those posts and post them fully autonomously. There's nothing out there at the moment that can do this, and the best part is you can grab this automation for free in my community together with all my other automations. It's free now, but I don't know how long my community will be for free, so hurry and follow the link in the description before it's too late. As you might know, LinkedIn is hot right now. If you want to build a personal brand, if you want to build a business, if you want to get more inbound leads that are already familiar with you, LinkedIn is a great place to do that in 2024. I know a lot of people are on X trying to build their business or find clients, but at the moment, LinkedIn seems to be a lot better for that, simply because it's a platform with about 1 billion people on it, but there's only 1% of them that are actually creators. Also, the demographic on LinkedIn is more likely to be in a position to become a client as opposed to, let's say, on TikTok or Instagram. And one of the ways to grow on LinkedIn is to make sure you are visible in the comment section of big accounts. Now, of course, you need to create your own content as well. You need to make sure that your profile is dialed in with a clear message and a clear call to action. But when you're visible in the comment section of big accounts that are going to be seen by thousands of people every single day, it's a matter of time before people are going to land on your profile, especially if your comments can in some way stand out. So about the AI automation that we will be building today, I'll give you a quick overview. So the automation is going to look every day on the profile of people that we choose to follow for what they have been posting. It's going to store all of those posts in a Google Sheet, and then we're going to train a custom AI assistant to come up with responses to those posts, and it's going to post those responses for you fully automatically. So if that sounds exciting to you, grab a coffee or save the video for later, because we're going to build this automation together right now. So let's jump in. So LinkedIn growth automation series. I just made this quick presentation, so I might as well just show it to you. Over the next few weeks, I'll be building a few automations to grow your personal brand or to grow your business on LinkedIn. So some automations will be about growing your followers, to find leads for your business, to grow your personal brand, and to get more inbound leads. So one section will be focusing more about automating your follower growth by auto-commenting, by auto-liking posts, to help you write articles more quickly and to become a top voice in your domain. I already built a carousel post creator that's super awesome. Actually, it can just accept a few lines and it will create a beautiful carousel post for LinkedIn. And also to grow your personal brand, the last few weeks I've been playing with the idea to create a kind of LinkedIn dashboard that will look at all the highest performing posts, both from yourself or from other creators, and that will inform you how to make the best decisions on what content to produce for your personal brand. Another thing that I actually already built is a AI assistant that has specific knowledge about an industry. So for example, you can add PDFs or other knowledge bases and have an AI write posts with that specific knowledge in mind. So yeah, I already told you what we're gonna do today. So the tools that we're gonna use are Make.com, Phantom Busters, Google Sheet, and optionally you can use Airtable. Phantom Buster, you can get a free 14-day trial. After that, you do have to pay for it, but honestly, the whole automation series that I'm gonna build for LinkedIn is based on Phantom Buster. And I think for the base plan that you buy, you can do so much. So it's definitely worth the investment in your personal brand. Okay, so let's get into the automation. But actually, before we start building, I'm always curious to know what kind of automations you dream of having. So if you drop a comment below the video to let me know, I'll be reading all of them. And if it's interesting, I might make it for you for free. Okay, before we start from scratch to build this automation, I'm gonna quickly show you the final result. This automation is split up into 3 parts, simply because there's a few moving parts that don't fit in one automation. So the first part will be to look at the activity from the influencers that you want to follow. So we're going to build a list of people that you want to follow. I just put in one name here, you know, the all famous Justin Welch. If you don't know this guy, he's basically the biggest influencer on LinkedIn. We're going to scrape the activity of the people that we follow in one automation. We're going to do that every day. And once we have a list of posts from these people, so let's say you have a list of 50 people, it's going to look every day for this, for posts of these people, and it's going to store all these posts in a Google Sheet, not this one. The second part of this automation is going to look at the results. So it's going to look at all the posts that we just scraped, and it's going to download them here. It's going to, in this case, store them in Airtable, but it might as well be on Google Sheet, and it's going to create responses with OpenAI. And it's going to store those responses in another Google Sheet, this one. The unique thing about this automation, I don't want to get ahead of myself, is that it's going to use ChatGPT 4o, and it's actually going to use images as well. Because sometimes I notice that, someone might just post a picture or a screenshot, or just, a screenshot and then one word in the description. So if you just fed that one word into OpenAI, it's not going to be able to write a proper response to that. So with ChatGPT 4o, it's nice that we can feed it images as well to give it a bit more context. The third part of this automation is going to post the responses on the post, along with deleting already posted comments and so forth. So these are the 3 automations. Okay, so let's start building. So we're starting off with a fresh make scenario. The first module will be a Airtable get a record. Select the right base. And for this, I'm going to get my phantom data. I just need to get the record ID. By the way, if you ever want to know the record ID in Airtable, a quick little hack is to add a formula. And in the formula, you just type record ID, and then it's going to display the record ID. So we're going to paste this record ID in here, and I'm just going to run this automation one time, and it's going to funnel all the Airtable information in the make automation. So the next thing that I need is a Phantom Buster module. I'm going to jump into Phantom Buster in a second to show you what we will do. But for now, I'm going to launch a Phantom, and I'm going to map this because it's going to be the same one every time. And it will be the influencer activity extractor. And the session cookie, so if you're not familiar with scraping LinkedIn or using Phantom Buster, you will need a cookie of your LinkedIn account. It's a little bit annoying, and there's not really a, elegant way to automate this process. What you need to do to get your LinkedIn cookie is to go to linkedin.com and open a developer window, developer tools, go to cookies, LinkedIn, under application, and you get the LE at cookie value. Copy this, and I found that storing it in Airtable is the most convenient way, because now I can use the cookie in several automations without needing to copy paste it all the time. So I just updated my cookie. I'm going to show you the Phantom Buster automation. So Phantom Buster is basically a platform that scrapes data for you. I'll quickly show you how I've set this up. I'm going to switch back to form. It's quite straightforward. You enter a Google Sheet to understand which profiles to scrape from, and you need to paste in your LinkedIn cookie here. I just scrape posts for now, and I'm going to just scrape one post per time, with the idea that, of course, you're not going to scrape one person, but you're going to scrape many people. And also I'm going to scrape multiple times a day. So that's why I just choose to scrape one post at a time. I'm going to launch this scraper through Make, so this is not really important at the moment. So let's jump back to make.com. So for the first automation, this is almost it actually. I'm going to just enter this cookie. I'm going to enter the sheet of influencers. Column name is e-profile. Actually, let me just check this spreadsheet. Yeah, so it's LE profile. So the first part of the automation is already finished. Super easy. Number 2. So for the second automation, I'm gonna select a custom webhook. I'm gonna add a new tutorial webhook. Phantom Buster LinkedIn scraper. Copy it to clipboard. And the reason that I'm gonna use a webhook is because the first automation, I didn't show you this, so I'm gonna go back into Phantom Buster. If I go to the advanced settings and I'm gonna go to webhook, I have a custom webhook URL here. So what will happen is that once the first automation is finished, the activity extractor extracted all the activities then it's going to trigger the webhook and it's going to start the second automation. Super easy. So that's the webhook. The second part is a Phantom Buster module to get a output. So I'm gonna select the activity extractor and it's going to give me the output of this Phantom. I actually can show you what happens if I get the output. I'm gonna run this once. And so this is the last thing that I did with this Phantom. And as you can see, it just gives me a long string of information, not very useful. So what I need to do is include a few more steps so that we get the information from Phantom Buster in a way that we can actually use. The first thing that we're gonna need to do is download the result. And I'm just gonna take the container ID from the previous step and I run it once again. And now it's giving us a JSON file. But a JSON file we also can't really use in Make. Especially not in this way, it's just giving us raw data, binary data. So what we need to do is convert this binary data in something more useful for us. So I'm gonna select this binary data and I'm gonna select Unicode for input and Unicode for output and run it once again. And now what I have is a JSON. So what I can do now is parse this JSON. I'm gonna take the data, run it. Yes, run it anyway. Oop, it's still a long string. It's still a JSON. I'm not sure exactly why this is, but it's basically two JSONs packed into one. Maybe some of you can explain to me how this works exactly, but I'm just gonna repeat this and I'm gonna parse this second JSON as well, which is this one. And I'm gonna run it once again. So Phantom Buster, if you're seeing this tutorial, please do something about this. I mean, you could easily make this output a little bit more useful for Make. So now I have my bundles, finally. So these are 11 posts that I scraped. So these are the 11 bundles, the 11 posts that I scraped yesterday, which we can finally use. So now what I want to do is I want to put all these posts in Airtable. I already did this. So it will look like this once it's finished. So it's got the text here, the author, the actual URL. I also split up the post, the last part of the URL, so I get an easy view of the post ID so I can track easily which post it is. I also included a button to open the posts a little bit more quickly. Here you can see the images. This is still empty, but since this automation will be running multiple times a day, and since a lot of creators are not posting new things each and every day, a lot of the times the Phantom Buster output will have the same post. So before I want to add a new record for each of these posts, I actually want to search if these records already exist in my Airtable. Makes sense, right? So that I don't have any double posts in there. So I'm gonna select my Airtable database, post and comments, and the formula will be post URL. It's the name of the column, and post URL is going to be the actual URL. So it's going to return a yes or a no if it finds these posts. So if it found a post, the total number of bundles will be 1. If it didn't find a post, it's going to be a bundle of 0. So now I'm going to create a record. I'm going to select I'm going to select my Airtable database. Here I'm going to simply map out the information that I have. Post ID, post URL, author's profile URL. Sorry, of course it's going to be this part. Post URL, profile URL, date, and post text. It's going to be the post content. Post ID, I just created a quick little formula here. I'm going to take the post URL and I'm going to replace this part with nothing. So it's just end up with the last part of the URL, just a personal preference. So we created the record and now we're gonna start with the fun part, which is of course OpenAI. We're gonna create a completion. No, this time we're not gonna create a completion. This time we're gonna make an API call. Okay, quick reminder to myself is to always be checking if I'm recording or not, because I just recorded the whole build without actually recording, so I'm gonna start over. So I left off at this ChatGPT module. I'm using an API call simply to use a ChatGPT 4.0 with images. So in the regular ChatGPT completion module, you can select ChatGPT 4o, but you cannot upload any images. So that's why I want to use this method, simply because if you want to scrape posts on LinkedIn, some of those posts will have an image, and some of those images will have information that you want to include in your prompt. And that's possible now with ChatGPT 4o. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the playground and we're going to enter some prompts and text, and then we're going to use that to create our JSON text. It's very simple. What we will do is I'm actually going to start off with a system prompt. Let me open my text that I saved somewhere. So we're going to start off with no, I'm not going to enter that here. I'm going to start off with this one here. As a system prompt, I'm going to make it simple. And this is the general prompt that I'm using, a simple prompt to tell the AI that it's a social media writer. And next, I'm going to click add, and I'm going to, just for this example, I'm going to put in some posts from our friend Justin Welsh. Let me just run this quickly. I'm going to put this as a user and I'm going to run this. Okay, this is a basic answer. Doesn't really matter if you like the answer right now. We're going to change that later. So let's get another one. Okay, let's run this one. So as you can see, it's ChatGPT is telling us that it's an assistant response or a user response. Okay, let's get one more. And this time I'm going to also include the image. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this image and I'm going to drop this in here. Does it work like that? I'm not sure. Yes, it does. Okay, and run it. Okay, and now I'm going to actually delete that last response and I'm going to click this button, view code. And as you can see, it created a JSON text for this whole conversation. And I'm just going to copy this and going to paste it in our automation. Simple as that. Maybe some of you can answer that. Why is it that if I paste in an image in here that it's such a huge file? I'm not sure. Please let me know. I'm just going to delete this part because here I'm going to actually paste in my own image that I'm going to use that I just scraped. Here we go. URL. So this is coming from Airtable. Going to paste it in here. And here I'm going to paste in the text from Airtable, post text. Here we go. And one more thing we need to do is put in this URL field. And that's also super easy. We're just going to go back to ChatGPT and we're going to copy this part and paste it in. And this is a post request. Yes. Okay, that's it. So one more thing is that this prompt is expecting images, but not all the posts that we're going to scrape will contain images. So what we need to do is we're going to need to split this route. So we're going to add a router and we're going to copy this one and we're going to change a little bit of this prompt to make it a prompt that can accept, prompts without an image. And it's very simple. We're just going to go back into ChatGPT. I'm going to copy this last text and I'm going to delete this prompt and I'm going to enter the text again and run it again. And I'm going to delete again this last response. And now we have a few prompts without an image. We'll copy that one and we're going to paste it into the second one. There we go. So yeah, again, we need to delete this last part and put in the post text. Hit OK. Include the filter, of course. So I'm going to say for this one, URL should exist. And that is going to be the image route. And here it's going to be the opposite, obviously. So attachment URL does not exist. Simple. No image. Okay, one more thing I want to mention is to train your AI is, I'm not going to do that right now, but this could be as simple as changing these responses to what you would actually write. And I actually highly encourage you to do that to get better responses. I mean, they're not awful, but they're not great either. I would definitely use more prompts and I would definitely change the prompts in your own voice, so to make it more likely that the AI will write like you write. So next up, we're gonna actually let me just run this one. Let's see what happens. I might not included this part in the video because that part might have been deleted. I'm not sure. I put a filter here that checks if the URL exists. So it's searching for these records, and if the record exists, it's not gonna create a new record, which is the case right now. So it found 11 records and all of them are already in my Airtable account. So I'm gonna delete one. I'm gonna delete this one, which has an image, and we're gonna run the automation again. And this one should be let through, yes, and it's going through the right direction, but it's giving us an error, and it's telling us that the JSON is incorrect, which is a bit strange because we copied it straight from ChatGPT, so we might have forgotten something. I'm just going to check. I'm going to delete another one that doesn't have an image, so we can check the other route. So let's delete this one. Just checking if I'm still recording. Yes. Okay. So this doesn't have an image and it's still going to this side. That's a bit strange as well. So let me check which one he found. ID. Oh, post ID. Let's quickly look in Airtable. Let's find this post ID. It's the same one with an image. Okay, fine. Let's first fix this. So I'm not oh, actually I know. So as you can see, this prompt doesn't have any new lines or empty lines. So let me check. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the new line code, which is what ChatGPT enters here instead of an empty line. As you can see inside the prompt in the JSON file, it's going to replace those empty lines with this. And when we enter this text here, it does have these empty lines and it doesn't have those backslashes. So we're going to need to change that. And the way to do that is we're going to add a replace function. From this post text, I'm going to replace all the new lines with a space. Okay, let me try that again. Delete this one. Actually gonna copy that post ID. Let's run it again. Same error. Oh, okay, this is strange. Okay, I moved this one here and run it again. Okay, now it's correct. We got a status 200 and we should have gotten a response. Great reminder, strategy first, then planning ensures real success. Okay, great. Let's check the other one. We're gonna do the same here. So replace post text with replace the new lines with a space. So the image part is working. Now let's check the post without an image. Delete this one. It's still going to the image again. URL exists. Oh, okay, strange. Maybe something wrong with the post that I'm using here. Let me delete another one. Just want to make sure that both routes are working. Okay, so this one now it's going to the image, no image site, and this is working. It's a little bit quicker without an image. Excellent checklist. Subcategorizing products is a game changer. Okay, so final step for this part of the automation is to add these responses into our Google Sheet. So I'm gonna go to Google Sheets and we're gonna use the add a row module. Actually, I need to check which account this is in. Okay, and this is the LinkedIn auto response, post responses, yes, sheet name. So this is quite straightforward. I'm gonna put the ChatGPT response in our comment, which is this one. Again, I would definitely recommend training your AI and changing your prompt. And the post URL is coming from our Airtable post URL. And this I'm gonna clone and I'm gonna put it on this side as well. Obviously change the ChatGPT output, message, content. Okay, save this one. Great. This I'm gonna add later to test the final automation when they're all finished. So automation number 3. This part is posting the responses on LinkedIn. So this is also quite straightforward. Basically, we need to go into our Google Sheets and check for new rows, and then we're just gonna post it with Phantom Buster. But we need to do some maintenance first, because if we're running this automation multiple times a day, we don't want to be posting the same post, on a post. So what we need to do is just do some maintenance. We're gonna need to delete the comments that we already posted. So the way I found to do that is to actually get an output of the Phantom Buster again. And this time, not the Phantom Buster that is getting all posts, but this time we're gonna need to get the other Phantom, which is the auto comment Phantom. So each time we post something on LinkedIn with Phantom Buster, it's gonna generate also a kind of report, an output of all the posts and the comments that we posted. So actually, I'm just gonna show you. I selected this auto commenter Phantom, and each time I run this, it's gonna give me the last posts that I posted, the last comments that this automation posted. So as you can see, I posted a few comments, and yeah, again, to use this, it's a bit annoying we're gonna need to add these 4 modules again. So I'm just gonna copy this, didn't copy it. Command C doesn't work today. Yeah, just obviously change this one, container ID, also change this data input, this one as well. And this one we should probably, okay, let me delete this and I'm gonna run this automation one time. That's the wrong one, JSON, here we go, it's JSON. Oh, and here we're gonna grab the second JSON. Okay, that should be it. And now what we need to do is we need to search in this output. We're gonna search this output in our Google Sheet. So we're gonna put in a search rows module, LinkedIn post responses. Oh, and we're gonna select post URL equal to, okay, we're gonna, let me unlink this and we're gonna run this one time because I need this output here and it's not giving us because we created that module after we run it. So I'm gonna again go to the search rows module, gonna select my account, post responses, sheet name, and search URL should be equal to this one, obviously. Okay, so now it's gonna search for those URLs. It's gonna check if it finds it, and if it finds it, it's not gonna post it. And obviously not only is it not gonna post this comment the second time, it's gonna go into our Google Sheet and it's going to delete the URL that it found. So this Google Sheet is always up to date. That's the goal. So I'm gonna create one route. So I'm gonna add a router and one route is going to be delete a row. It's gonna delete the row that it found, and the other route it's going to go onto LinkedIn and post the comment, if that makes sense. It's gonna make sense in a second, just bear with me. Here I'm gonna clear a row, delete a row. Delete a row. I could probably just map it here, enter manually. Is it giving me the spreadsheet ID? No, sheet ID, yeah. And row number is this one. Okay, so it's gonna find the URL, and when it finds the URL that's already been posted, it's gonna delete it. And so now we can launch another fountain. We can launch another Phantom. This time we're gonna launch the auto commenter. And as maybe you remember, I can quickly show you. So back in Phantom Buster, this was our first automation. And let me go quickly to the other one, which is the auto commenter. If I show you how to set it up. So we need to add our session cookie. Gonna do that in a second. And we're gonna select our spreadsheet ID, which is the one I just showed you, this one. And then we're just gonna map our fields, save it, number of comments to post per launch. So they recommend about 10 comments per launch. I think you can post about 80 comments a day. Ah, yeah, here it is. So yeah, about 8 launches a day maximum. And that's quite a lot of comments, you know. Advanced settings, I didn't put in a webhook here. I don't think it's necessary because later we're gonna trigger our automation on a time basis. So that's it. We just need to refresh our cookie maybe. So I'm gonna go to LinkedIn, and I'm not sure if I showed you. Yeah, you also have this cookie here, but don't use this one for this automation because when I copy this cookie, I can actually show you. This cookie is giving us this, which is not what we need. Trust me, I tried and it failed horribly. What we need is the cookie from our developer window. So go to developer tools, LinkedIn, and it is the cookie LinkedIn. Wait, yeah, that's it. So this one, I'm actually gonna put it again in Airtable because I might have changed by now. No, it looks the same. Okay, I got a little bit off track here. So let's go back to our automation. And so yeah, we need the session cookie here. Actually, so we need another module here. Let me delete this one. We can do this in the beginning of this automation, or we can do it here. It doesn't matter. We're gonna go to our Airtable and we're gonna grab the session cookie. I'm gonna copy our record ID. I'm gonna get a record and go to the right Airtable base in the right table and paste in the record ID. Okay, let me run this module only. So now we got our cookie, and I'm gonna add the Phantom Buster launch a Phantom again. Phantom ID, don't map this one. We're just gonna select it here. Auto commenter, session cookie, that's this one. Spreadsheet URL, it's spreadsheet comments, column name, post URL, and comment, I think. Comments or comment? Let me check quickly. comment. Number of lines per launch, 10 maximum. Okay, so anything else? Oh, of course, the error handler. If you forget to update your cookie, you're gonna want to know that. So I prefer to put an error handler here, and I'm gonna put in a Slack, create a message. It's this one, manually, no, from a list, private channel, LinkedIn. And here, yeah, you can just put in the error message. And actually I can also put in the scenario URL, which is sometimes quite easy that you don't have to find the right scenario. And I'm also going to put in the Airtable URL, which is also quite easy sometimes. So that's this one. Makes it a lot quicker if you want to copy and paste in your cookie. So just put in the Airtable URL here in your error message, and then you get the Slack message with the URLs, and it makes life a little bit easier. Okay, so that's our third part of the automation. Let me just quickly give this a better name, tutorial, and save. Don't forget to save, kids. Okay, and for this one, response generator tutorial, and then number 1. That was the easiest one. Okay, so that's our 3 automations. What would be the nicest way to show the final result? So yeah, in this case, I am going to create a time-based schedule for this automation, and I'm going to start at 7 in the morning, and I'm going to end at, let's say, 7, just to include different time zones, and obviously not in the weekends. Don't be on LinkedIn in the weekend. This doesn't have to be that much. I mean, most people aren't going to post every day anyway. Let's say you follow 100 people. I mean, you could just run it once a day. Let's say twice a day. So let's say each 6 hours, that's 360 minutes. So that's each 6 hours, and it's going to start at 7 o'clock. So to recap, this automation is going to it's going to look at our list of influencers, which is in this case just 1. And it's going to start this automation that will look at all the comments that these people posted. Sorry, not comments, posts that these people posted. And that is going to store in our Airtable. That's the second automation. So once this automation is finished, it's going to trigger a webhook, and that webhook is going to trigger our second automation, which is going to get all of those posts, and it's going to write it in our Airtable base. Actually, it's this one. First, it's going to check if the posts are not already in our Airtable base. If they are, then it's not going to write any new rows, obviously. And then it's going to write the newly created records is going to write responses to them for them. And when these responses are written, they are going to be stored in this Google Sheet. Then the third automation, how are we going to trigger this one? So this one, we're going to trigger a few more times each day. We want to be using our 80 posts a day, and we're going to post 10 posts each time. So in theory, we should post, 8 times a day. So let's say that we post in between 9 and 5, that will be each hour. So let's say 60 minutes, and then we're gonna add an advanced schedule. So I'm gonna say between 8 and 5, 17. Okay, 17, I guess that's 17. I think it should be 5, yes. Okay, between 8 and 5. Okay, let's make it easy and put 9 to 5 each hour. So, okay, and forgot to check only on weekdays and months. Actually, I think if you don't select anything, I'm not sure actually. So maybe I should check all the months in the first one as well. Okay, so that should be it. You also need to add a array aggregator here, because it's potentially going to trigger multiple bundles from this Google Sheet, but we cannot trigger the phantom multiple times. Remember, the phantom, it's not going to post based on individual bundles in our make automation. It's just going to be triggered in our make automation, and inside Phantom Buster, it's going to look in our Google Sheet. So triggering the Phantom Buster multiple times will result in errors. Because a Google Sheet, a module, it's basically like an iterator. So it's potentially going to trigger multiple bundles. So we need to make sure that we close this loop here as such. I actually want to put in a filter here. I actually only want to want to enable this flow when the last bundle has passed. So I'm gonna say that the total number of bundles should be equal to the bundle order position. So let's say there's 8 bundles coming through. I want that this phantom is only going to be triggered by the last one. So this way it's going to check and delete each row that it finds, and the last one it's going to continue and trigger our phantom. Okay, so I'm gonna put in Danco's profile. I am going to save this first part of the automation. Actually also gonna go into Phantom Buster, and I'm gonna change this a little bit because I just want one result. I just want one result, not 10, because I'm only using one account and I don't want to scrape 10 posts. So, okay, one item to extract per activity type. Yep, that should be okay. And okay, so it should profiles to scrape. Just let me double check. Yep, that's the correct sheet. Now I'm gonna scrape it. It triggered the phantom, should be running. Really? Okay, so let me quickly copy the lead add cookie again. Now it's running, connecting to LinkedIn. Okay, authentication successful. Processing the Danco. So yeah, when this automation, when this phantom is finished, I didn't put in the correct webhook, but when it's finished, it should trigger webhook. I'm just gonna trigger it manually now, because when you use a get an output module, it's always going to get the last output of that phantom anyway, so it doesn't really matter how it's triggered. That looks like Danco posts. So in automation number 2, we're gonna get all of those posts that it just scraped, and it's going to create an output with ChatGPT, response. I just want the one post. So I'm actually just gonna delete everything here because it makes it a little bit difficult to see what we're doing. And yeah, so it didn't find any records from this output, so it's created a new one. And oh yeah, here is the post. Okay, yeah. So, and here are the posts coming. Seems to be all posts with images, and it should be writing responses as we speak, yes. So yeah, this is why I didn't want to scrape 10 posts, because I'm not gonna post 10 responses, 10 in a row. So it's a bit ridiculous. So once this automation is finished, it created 10 posts. Actually, it found one, so it created 9 posts, 8 with images and 1 without. Cool. So now let's go to our Google Sheet, and I'm actually going to just delete all of them except one, because I just want one post. I'm gonna connect this one again. Okay, that should work. And yep, it should be posted. Actually, it triggered the phantom. So let's check if it's posted it. Auto commenter, one comment posted. Let me check, and here we go. As you can see, this automation is extremely powerful. I hope you're getting as excited as me to start using this automation to grow your personal brand on LinkedIn in 2024. If you have any questions about this automation, the best place to ask them is in my community. So head over there right now while it's still free. Please also like the video and subscribe to the channel to support me. I really appreciate it. I'm always curious to know what kind of automations that you want to build. So drop a comment below the video to let me know, and I might make it for you. Also, of course, if you're looking for custom automations, I run an AI automation agency called Opmatic. You can find the link in the description. This was it for today. We'll see you in the next video, but until then, do more deep work, automate the rest. Bye bye.